You're listening to The Sports Moment,
June 7th, 2024.
part of the Sports Moments and Memories with Craig Olson podcast. Be sure to like and subscribe so you never miss a sports moment. Sponsored by Pemberton Law and Lake Area Docks and Lifts.
Lake Area Docks and Lifts, more than just docks and lifts. Lake Area Docks and Lifts.
A history-making day for the Lady Spartans on the golf course as Ellia Soydara has accomplished the task of winning the championship in the NJCAA Division III National Golf Tournament in Chautauqua, New York. Soydara put together a consistent tournament as she shot rounds of 81, 79, 81, and 81 to reach her 322 total, which gave her a 7-stroke advantage over the closest competitor, Haley Cassells of College of DuPage, who finished second with a 329, and her teammate Ivy Burnett was third at 330. So congratulations to Ellia Soydara, who turned in the best score of the day on round 4, an 81, and wins the National Golf Championship in NJCAA Division III by a 7-stroke margin over the rest of the field. Outstanding accomplishment for Ellia Soydara, who is headed to Dickinson State for her junior year of collegiate golf. Now, the Spartan men, whose goal going into the national tournament was to finish in the top 5, did just that. They finished in 5th place as they completed play today with a team score of 334. Now, that was their highest score of the tournament. Their total score was 1306, and that placed them 6 strokes ahead of Ulster Community College, the number 6 team in the tournament. Number 1 went to Sandhills Community College as they won by 48 strokes over Georgia Military College. And for Sandhills, it is their 4th consecutive national championship. The Spartans were led today by Brock Thompson, who shot an 81, and he wound up with the low score over the 4 days of the tournament for M State as he shot a 323. Charlie Feuder was second with a 326, including an 83 in the final round. And then Adam Vatnsdal with a 329, and Marcus Nelson at 339, and Riley Strumland at 340.
Jason Retzlaff and Ellia Soydara are joining me on the podcast today from Chautauqua, New York, on the heels of Elia's national championship in the NJCAA Division III National Golf Tournament. And we'll start there. Congratulations, Ellia, on an outstanding accomplishment and just such consistency over the 4 rounds. And what did you think made the difference for you to play that consistently over the last 4 days?
I think it's a really difficult course to play, and the biggest thing you can do is keep a strong mentality going through it. I think just the competition I had in the fall really prepped me for that, because once you see the course, you know how to play it, and it's a matter of how much you get in your head on those bad holes or not.
Did playing that course last year help you just a lot in your preparation for this year?
Yeah, it was definitely easier. I already kind of had down what worked and what didn't work, and based off of how I play now, just what adjustments I needed to make.
And Jason, you were talking in some of your reports here earlier this week about how Ellia, even when she got into trouble, was able to minimize the damage and get out of trouble. Course management's so important, and you have to be able to kind of adjust on the fly sometimes to what's happening out there. Has that always been a strength that Ellia has had?
Yeah, Ellia's the most prepared golfer that I can remember having coached, just as far as having a game plan going into a round. I know she probably relished having 2 practice rounds to really get a game plan set and figured out how she wanted to attack some of the holes or go about working around some of the holes. The golf course is it's a Donald Ross golf course, one of the great all-time golf architects. We'll see his golf course next weekend for the men's U.S. Open at Pinehurst No. 2, and the defense of Donald Ross's golf courses are the greens, and these greens are something else, really. Tee to green, it's not an overly complicated golf course, but the greens, you're not finished until you're in the hole. A lot of times you get on the green and you're going to 2-putt or 1-putt and move on. Here it's always a constant battle because of the undulations, the curves. And Ellia was so prepared and had a plan for it. It's fun for me as a coach to watch her go about getting things set, sticking to that plan, and then, like you said, adjusting to the fly. I know we had different conditions all week. We had sunny, hot weather early in the week. Then it got rainy. Today it was rainy and windy. And because of that, there were a lot of adjustments to make. And Elia's ball was really spinning when it landed on the greens. And for parts around, she had to adjust to that after a lot of good shots kind of ran off the green. And she knows how to do that. She adjusts well. And like you did mention before, a big part of being a great golfer is having the discipline to know when, okay, I'm in a really bad spot. I can't turn a bogey into a double bogey or triple bogey. And I thought there were many times, especially the first couple days, where she was in just a real tough spot, short-sighted, where she could have tried to hit a perfect shot and the percentages weren't there. And as a golfer, it's hard not to try to pull that off when you know you can do it, but maybe the odds tell you otherwise. And she did a great job of having discipline. Take your bogey, move on, because you know that you're going to get better as it goes on.
So, Ellia, knowing how difficult the greens were going into your practice rounds, was that an emphasis for you, those 2 practice rounds, just to spend a lot of time focusing on the individual greens? And how did you approach putting on those greens?
Yeah, for sure. That was a big part of my prepping. I had a lot of help from my dad, and my brother came out here too, and they're both great golfers. They've helped me with my game over the years. And the thing about these greens is there's a huge lake that has this pole for most of those holes, and you have to really trust that lake has that pole on those, even if your eyes tell you differently. So getting a good feel for each green, which way the lake pulls it, which way the grass is growing. The grass had different grains on every single green, and that also played a factor. Plus, every green has a ton of undulation on it that you really have to know what angle you want to come in from and then how you want to play that angle, and just having a lot of confidence in those putts helps put them in good positions. I don't think I had a whole lot of 1-putts just because they are incredibly difficult greens, but I could have had a lot more putts out there too.
So as far as the competition goes, you were you had a 2-shot lead going into the final round, but you were able to put some distance between yourself and the rest of the field today. But did you feel any pressure at all during the last 4 days, or is that something that, with all the rounds you played, competitive rounds you played, and success you've had, where you just don't feel that outside pressure?
Yeah, there's definitely some pressure, and it ebbs and flows as the round goes. I think on the first 2 days I was definitely feeling a lot more, but as I got more comfortable, I could get back to my regular game and kind of let that slide off and then address it afterwards and just play my game.
So, Jason, you have a national champion, and for the Spartan program, that's outstanding. And I know there are not a lot of women golfers in your program history. They just don't seem to play at the collegiate level, at junior college level, a smaller field than the men, of course, when you get to this stage of the season as well. But what does Ellia's success do for your program and for reaching out to other girls who might, have the option of playing some collegiate golf.
Yeah, you're certainly right. And there wasn't a full team out here. It's just it's unique. Division III junior college golf is always, it's always an uphill battle trying to get participants. And I give Ellia a lot of credit for being our only women's golfer. And what's really fun is maybe she's our only women's golfer, but she is certainly a member of our team along with our men's team. I mean, they get along so well, interact so well. It's just fun to watch for me as a coach to see how they become friends as well, get along and treat each other so well and have such a good time. So that's been just a great fit. And as far as what it can do for our program, I mean, it's wonderful to be able to say, hey, we are having success at the national level. We had Ellia, who not only won the individual national championship, but you look at what the season that she had. This tournament was her 8th tournament that she played in the fall and the spring. She won 7 of them, and the only one she didn't win, she got 2nd place. So of all the tournaments, we're talking Tiger Woods type stuff here. She only was bested by one player out of all those tournaments that she played in. I mean, it was incredible to watch, and the shots that she's able to hit is outstanding. I was just so proud of the way she handled today. She got off to an early lead, early in the round. Well, now she was playing with a very good player from College of DuPage, Ivy Burnett, who was 2 shots behind her, playing in her group. And then she had another player, Haley Castles, playing in the group in front, who came in 3 behind. And on Ivy, she got to an early lead, but then she got had a tough stretch where I believe Ellia 4 over on 3 holes from 7, 8, and 9.
Yep.
And that was the low point of the round, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
And it was kind of that moment where, okay, hey, this can go south, or we're going to figure it out. And what did she do? 7 pars in a row right after that difficult moment of adversity that basically put the tournament away. I mean, at that point, you make 7 pars in a row when the wind is blowing, you're dealing with rain. We knew it was pretty good shape at that point. Walking around with her and witnessing it, there were and I mentioned it in the write-up too, there were wow shots all over the place, and there were shots where she knew she had to dial back to make sure to be safe and not put up a big number that could maybe put that lead into jeopardy. And the way to respond after you have adversity like that was really one of my highlights that I've ever had coaching in my 20 years of golf here at M State. So that was great. I kind of got off on a tangent, but from that standpoint, having Ellia have that type of season, breaking the Pebble Lake Golf Course women's record, going out, winning the national tournament, winning almost every tournament she's been in, is tremendous, and is certainly something that we can point as we try to build our women's golf program.
Ellia, I think your coach is more excited than you are maybe about this thing. I think he's pretty pumped about what you accomplished here, and it is outstanding. The season that you had, and to cap it off like this is amazing. But the one thing too that I wanted to hear from you is the support you've had. You mentioned your dad and your brother helping you out, but the community support that you've had, I've had a lot of people asking me, how's Ellia doing out of New York? People are following you. What has that been like to be walking around the golf course or in the grocery store or at a restaurant and people come up and wish you well?
It's been pretty incredible. I mean, I feel bad because I may not know who's coming up to me, but they know all about my season, and it's really encouraging to know that people care that much, and that this is the type of community that I'm in. And especially like my parents they've been out here, and they keep coming after me after every round and saying, this person wanted to wish me well, this person wanted to wish me well. And it's extremely helpful. Especially today, I felt a little pressure in those first 2 days. But to the score didn't show that I played better, but I did execute things better on the next 2 days more calmly. And something about that was the support I was receiving is to just kind of take a step back and slow down and be grateful for how blessed I am just to have my family out here, to have all these people that want to wish me well, and my team, they're so supportive too. So it's just been crazy, wonderful just to hear and see from everybody.
Final question for you, Ellia. The grind, the mental grind of 4 rounds in 4 days, competing at this high level. You've been in a lot of competitive golf, but never maybe over the 4 days like you have in the national tournaments the last 2 years. How difficult was that, and how did you handle that?
Yeah, I'd say it's fairly difficult. I've had a lot of experience at this point with that competitiveness, that mentality, and something I've learned, especially having rounds where maybe I'm playing with slower golfers, is to also slow down and to let my mind release in between shots, to not be so zoned in, because once you get beyond like a 4-hour round, if I've been focused for too long, like in all of that, it gets incredibly tiring. But this is actually something my big brother, Levi, he taught me, is to let go of that focus in between shots and then focus back in when I'm at my ball and when I need to make the shot, so I don't mentally exhaust myself beyond what I'm capable of.
Oh, great. We sure appreciate your time, and congratulations again on the National Tournament Championship. Appreciate
Thank
you
you.
coming on with us on the podcast. All right. Jason, we're not done with you yet, because we want to talk about the men, okay?
Yep. You got
How about that men's team? Your goal going into the tournament was a top 5 finish, and you accomplished that against some really stiff competition.
Yeah, it was. I was really happy with our guys this week. There's some teams out here. Sandhills won their 4th consecutive championship. We knew they broke their record. They broke the record by 26 last year. They broke their own record by 7 this year. They're in the middle of a dynasty. There are a couple other teams that are outstanding, and we knew a realistic goal for our group. If we could get in the top 5, that would be a great accomplishment. And really, we went wire to wire 5th. I believe we were 5th after every round. The guys, I thought, managed their game as best they could. They were into it mentally the whole time, and really, I couldn't be happier with the way they represented our college. Every player on the team had ups and downs during the week, but every player had a moment where they really shined. We had Riley Stromlin, who really struggled in round 1, and then he came up and led us with a 78 the next day. Charlie Pewter, he had 2 eagles in the 3rd round. It was just awesome to see. I don't know how often anyone ever has 2 eagles, but he was able to pull it off. Brock Thompson led us for the entire 4 days, and we got to see him mature on a big stage right in front of our eyes. And Adam Bottensall led us on the first day, and Marcus Nelson really gave us some good play in different spots. So everyone really produced. And then I want to mention too, Eric Bjorndal was with us as our alternate, and he only got to play we can only have 5 players. He is the alternate in case someone got injured or sick. And he was awesome. What a great teammate to come out and support everyone. He's a great golfer in his own right, and would have played great golf for us out there as well too, had he had the chance. But it was great having him and being out here as a team and the support that he showed. So I'm just thankful for all the members of our team. They played well. They represented M-State in a great way, and fun to get back in that top 5 and reach a goal that we had going in.
Well, and you had just an outstanding stretch here with your men's golf teams that you were able to continue in a dramatic fashion in the fall when you came from behind and won that region tournament. And I think there's a lot of pride right now in Spartan Golf, and every team doesn't want to be that team, that doesn't make it.
Yeah, I think I mentioned that previously, that after day 1 at our national qualifier in the fall, we were down, I can't remember what it was 8 shots and there is a burden, I think, a bit of a burden with the streak that we have going for a number of years, that you don't want to be that team to maybe not make it or have that experience. So that was pretty neat how they responded to that and had such a good second round back in the fall to be able to qualify for that. And I think, things like that test you, to be able to perform under pressure, and it certainly carried over and helped our team this week. And then the last thing I wanted to mention too is my assistant coach Jeff Okus, who is out here, and he lives and breathes Spartan golf, and he's had some back issues, and a little harder time moving around, but he was out here all week running around, trying to be as helpful as possible, doing all sorts of things and encouraging the players. And I'm so thankful for him and everything he's done. He's been assistant coach for 19 years. It's been great having him. So we're thankful for him as well.
So a great accomplishment once again by the Spartan men's golf team and by Ellia Soydara at Chautauqua, New York. Congratulations to Ellia and to the Spartan men on another outstanding season of collegiate golf. Pemberton Law Firm serves you from 4 different locations around the region, with offices in Fergus Falls, Wadena, Detroit Lakes, and Alexandria. And online, you can visit them at pemlaw.com. Pemberton Law carries a legacy of trustworthy and reputable legal representation dating back to 1883. Lake Area Docks and Lifts offers premium waterfront equipment sales, service, and installation. Best quality and service at the best prices. Just ask your neighbor at the lake about Lake Area Docks and Lifts.
Lake Area Docks and Lifts, more than just docks and lifts. Lake Area Docks and Lifts.
Shane Zierden had a good day at St. Michael Albertville High School as the AA State Track and Field meet got underway, and the Fergus Falls senior claimed runner-up honors in the Class AA triple jump competition as he jumped 46 feet 5 3/4 inches. Shane will compete in the long jump finals on Saturday. Otter Jr. Jaden Miller qualified for the finals in the 800-meter run with a personal best time of 1:57.98, which was the 5th fastest qualifying time. In the finals of the 3,200-meter run, Perham Jr. Bjorn Anderson finished in 8th place. And sophomore Ruby Ellison of Fergus Falls did not place in the high jump, and the 4x100-meter relay team of Ruby Ellison, Siri Smested, Maya Fear, and Rachel DeBrito did not qualify for the finals. Alexandria had a champion in the girls' discus as Elise Maggard won it with a throw of 128 feet 2 inches. So an outstanding accomplishment there by Elise Maggard of the Alexandria Cardinals. Now the tournament concludes tomorrow as the Otters will have the 4x8 relay team running with Estee Versteeg, Cassie Wellman, Carson Lill, and Alexis Wellman. And they also have, again, Shane Zierden competing in the long jump competition tomorrow. And it will be Jaden Miller in the 800-meter run finals tomorrow as well for the Otters at the AA State Track and Field meet. The Minnesota Twins starting a 3-game weekend series against the Pirates in Pittsburgh after being swept in New York by the Yankees. They were beaten by a score of 9-5 last night, and now against Pittsburgh in the opener of that 3-game weekend series. The Twins were shut out by a score of 3-0 as Joe Ryan threw 7 solid innings, striking out 8 and giving up 2 earned runs, but the bats just were not functioning very well again for the Twins as they have now dropped 4 consecutive games. They'll play Pittsburgh again tomorrow and Sunday before coming home after a 9-game road trip to take on Colorado and Oakland in action at Target Field next week. The Boston Celtics took a 1-0 lead in the NBA Championship Final Series as they won their game against the Dallas Mavericks in Boston, 107-89 on Thursday night. Game 2 is tomorrow night as the Celtics are looking for their 18th NBA championship, and they're on their way with a 1-0 series lead. And that's going to take care of today's podcast, and we hope you'll have a great weekend and come back and join us again on Monday. We hope to have some audio from Coach Retzlaff and Ellia Soydara on the Spartan Golf success out in New York to share with you on Monday's podcast. So have a great weekend. Be sure to check out part 2 of our Otter Hockey History podcast by going to YouTube and listening to that program. Thanks again for stopping by.
You've been listening to The Sports Moment with Craig Olson, sponsored by Pemberton Law and Lake Area Docks and Lifts. Produced by Sunroom Lab. Music by Blue Red Roses. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts, and thanks for listening.